2018. So today's video challenge is the Bookish Etsy shop challenge. So basically you're supposed to do a DIY that looks like something that might be in a Bookish Etsy type shop. And I wanted to do something that was some kind of DIY that had stuff that I already have in my house, so I wouldn't have to buy anything. And I really like drinking these Tazo teas that come in little sachets, and they come in these really cool tins. So I always do really cool stuff with the tins, and I thought I would do a Bookish version with the tin. So this is what I'm going to call the Bookish Butterfly Tea Tin. And basically I have used book pages and washi tape to make this tin look cool. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So I'm gonna show you first what you guys will need to be able to do this. First of all, you need a tin, any kind of tin. I, of course, am using the Tazo tins. Then you need some washi tape, some butterfly templates. I picked one online. I just searched butterfly templates online that had a bunch of different sizes, but you could do whatever the heck you want because it's your tea tin. Scissors, one of these little X-Acto knifey things, some Mod Podge, and a sponge, and of course a book that's old that you don't feel like shame cutting stuff out of. I'm going to use my copy of Speak by Lori Hulse Anderson. Basically what happened is the glue did some cray stuff and the spine broke, and I can't use it for anything but crafts now. And so this is the perfect book choice to use for this fabulous DIY. So we're gonna get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of set up my surface. Now, if I was really gonna sell this, I would obviously peel this whole entire sticker off, but because that is really hard and time consuming and takes alcohol and a bunch of water and all sorts of stuff, I'm not gonna do that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Also, I kind of like seeing the little stuff that you can see through because it looks kind of cool. Like it looks like you have, I don't know, extra words under there because it's a Bookish tea tin. But basically what I've done instead of taking it off is I have just peeled back, you know, the, I'll use this can to show. I've peeled off kind of the edges of the can so that I have a really nice open flat space and there's nothing raised up. So basically I have started this already with the washi tape in lines 4 times. So as you can see, I've just basically done lines, and it doesn't matter if there's like stuff at the top here because we're gonna cut all of that off later on. So you just basically can tear it when you start. Now the thing that I like to use for the corners is these big thicker pieces of tape because I've discovered that they're better. And so I am going to kind of show what I do on the corner. Basically, I lay it there. I get this part nice and flattened out, and I peel it off. And what you're going to do is kind of fold this part and get all the little crinklies out and stick it down there. Like I said, we are going to cut all this excess at the bottom and the top off. But this way you have it kind of flattened out so that you can put your Mod Podge on it later. So now I'm just gonna kind of speed up and show you me putting the rest of the tape around. If you have just the tiniest little spot left, you can use a couple of pieces of really thin washi tape. On this one, I only had to use one, but I think on the one that I've just made, the way I've done the tape, I think I'm gonna have to use possibly 2. Sorry, it's getting kind of dark out there now. But as you can see, we've got this part done. So that is super cool. It already is looking nice. And now we're gonna cut off all this excess stuff. We're gonna use our fabulous little kind of X-Acto knife thing to do that. We're gonna lay this down as much as we can at the top. And then you're basically just going to score it all around. And I start just pulling the excess stuff off, making sure that it comes off. And if there's anything that you haven't scored well at this or like isn't laying down, just kind of take your fingernail and rub all the stuff that's popping up down. Now we're gonna do a similar thing with this on the bottom. So this part does tend to be a little harder, so just take your time with it. Have patience. So we're gonna put this aside just for a second because we're going to go ahead and decorate the top of our tin. Just kind of start a bit of tape and lay it along this edge. So we're just gonna go along the edge all the way around. And here is where we are gonna wanna cut with some scissors so that this is the part that's gonna show where we leave the tape off. Doesn't look gross. So we're gonna do a little scissoriness. And then just lay that last bit down. So after you've done that, you're going to basically smooth this out, and you're going to take your finger and do the inner part of the top all the way around. And then on the corners, you're gonna kind of just make a little triangle and lay them down. Yet again, we're gonna kind of glue this part down. So if it's kind of pop-up-y in a weird way, that's all right, because the glue is gonna fix up. Or the Mod Podge. It should look like so. So that way you have a little pretty top to go with your pretty rest of the tin. Now it is time for the butterfly. So you're gonna get your book out now. I have actually traced a few butterflies already in different sizes, if you can see that, but I'll show you just one that I'm gonna do. Sometimes I like to try to pick pages that have words on it that I like. This last butterfly, I'm just gonna go with the flow. There you go, you got some different sized butterflies going on. Now what you're gonna do, what hurts all of us book people, is you're gonna tear the pages out. So we're gonna tear these pages out. And of course, we're gonna cut these butterflies out of the paper. And now it's raining, yay! A rainy day DIY. So we have all our little butterflies ready for the next step, which is the gluing step. So what we're gonna do, make sure everything is laid down, is I'm going to use a paper plate. I like to use a paper plate because that just keeps everything from being too messy. Now I'm going to take my Mod Podge and put it on the tin. First of all, this is gonna glue anything down, keep it all stuck, but also it's going to waterproof it. Now you can get all kinds of finishes for your Mod Podge, but I'm just using the matte, and I kind of like the matte because it kind of makes this look like funky wallpaper, but that's just my personal preference. So my Mod Podge is like the saddest thing ever, and it's super glued all around. You're gonna brush a light layer on here. You want to make sure it's not too heavy because I don't have patience to like wait for it to dry basically, and I want to do a second layer to stick my butterfly on. So we're gonna do that, kind of get some at the top so that we can stick these edges down. And what you can do is later take your fingernail and kind of brush all this excess off when it dries so you don't end up gluing the top to your tin. First side I've put on, and I'm going to do a little sticky butterfly. I'm gonna do this one and kind of lay it down on there. And I discovered with my last tester one that you want to really make sure that it lays flat and that you haven't put on too much Mod Podge on your first layer, because that will give you some lumpies. And the lumpies will go away as it dries, but if you cannot have them in the first place, that's always good. So now I'm going to do a tiny one just to look like there's lots of butterflies flying. And we'll stick that on. And basically, you're gonna go around the whole thing, one layer, sticking on butterfly. So once you've done the first layer and stuck all the butterflies on it, you want to do a second layer, and that's gonna seal up the paper of the butterfly. Make sure yet again that you don't put too much Mod Podge on it because then it will get all bubbly and weird, just like a medium to light layer. And after you've done that layer, you want to kind of do a little bit at the bottom so that this bottom stuff lays down. Yet again, when this glue dries, you can just take your fingernail or something sharp and get the excess glue that's kind of gunked up around there so that it's more presentable. And then just take your hands and kind of stick these parts down all the way around so that they, especially the corners, are like laying down. When the glue hardens, it won't be a big deal. But right now we just kind of got to train the corners to do what you want them to do and lay down. And that is going to dry for a second. And now we're going to do our top. So just kind of move that to the side of your tray or your paper plate. And yet again, you're going to have to retrain all these sections. You want to start at the edge where you cut off. So let me find that. Go first on that bit, and then you do a layer all the way around, getting kind of the top edge here, but also just the sides and all that. As you go, just kind of rubbing the edge down too so that you can train it to stay, especially the parts that you folded like so. Be careful though about like rubbing too hard because you'll rub the glue off. So as you can see, it does look a little weird and lumpy and stuff while it's drying, but it's gonna kind of gloss up or matte up as it dries. Basically, you can do anything you want with this box. I know a lot of Bookish boxes do have tea in them. So you could do like a sachet of tea. I've done this for gifts, like just put some tea from like a similar box in this, but it's a pretty, woo! And you can like put the top on, give it as like a birthday gift. Or I like to make little magnetic washi tape bookmarks so they have like little magnets on the inside, like so. And they're fun and cool and have all sorts of fun patterns. And you might want to like put your, you know, short bookmarks, your washi tape bookmarks in there. You can put crafting things. You can do all sorts of stuff with these tins. And then you have a pretty tin that has your favorite bookness or an old book. You've gotten to use your old book for something. That is my DIY Bookish Etsy challenge video. I hope you guys have enjoyed all your reading for this readathon. I have really enjoyed doing all these video challenges and reading the books and all that stuff. And that is it for today and for all these readathon challenges. Thank you for watching, fabulous peeps. I will see you all soon. Bye!